Well, hello to my lovely viewers and subscribers. Well, as you can tell, we're now in the month of April. And with every month, you know what that means. Updates! So, well, I guess shoutouts, right? Shoutouts first. Shoutouts and an update. So, I think from last time I missed one particular person for the shoutouts. I haven't had any more requests for shoutouts, so maybe it's falling out of fashion, but Jonathan Song, shout out to you. Big shout out to this guy for doing all the things he does, running volleyball ministries, showing up to church, being who he is. Shout out to you. But as always, I appreciate all you viewers. As always, the loyal ones here from day one. I appreciate you. Thankful that you all click on my videos, listen to me ramble here, because these videos are actually just me rambling. But again, thank you also for those who commented. Somehow my video just came out of nowhere, came out of the blue, but it was a fitting and helpful video for you. So I'm thankful that God is using these videos and my ramblings of what I've learned. So just sharing God's truth, but I'm glad that that's been helpful for you. So for April, not a whole lot of updates. Maybe I'll just go first over my reading list. So this week I will apologize. I'm only going to do one video again. It's been busy lately. So the amount of reading I've been able to do has been drastically lowered, much to my disappointment. So hopefully after this Sunday, once I'm done preaching and also reading all those commentaries for the sermon, I'll be able to get back into the rhythm of reading. So at the moment, I'm reading The Great Gain of Godliness. This is by Thomas Watson. And it's been a pretty good read. I'm not very far through it, but the back, it talks about Spurgeon mourned that he didn't have this one book. So now that it's in print, this is a great book. So I'm looking forward to reading the rest of it. Once that's done, I think the plan is to move on to this one right here. So The Sinfulness of Sin by Ralph Venning. I think it'll be a good read. Always good to be reminded of how terrible sin is. And we often forget. We become hardened towards sin. So Puritans, they will certainly lay it down, just how awful sin is. This one's a bit of a longer book, so 333 pages. And then a non-Puritan book that I hope to read is also this one here. So Life in a Negative World by Aaron Wrenn. This one was recommended by Tom Ashkell multiple times in several of his Romans sermons. And a little overview of this book is the day and age that we live in now as Christians it's a negative world. So if I remember correctly, there's sort of like a positive world, neutral world, and a negative. So positive world is like, Christianity is celebrated, all the values are held up by everyone. Neutral is where it's sort of like, there's no like pushback against Christianity, but then at the same time, the culture doesn't exactly hold Christian values anymore. And in a negative world, now it's an anti-Christian culture. So we do live in a culture that looks down upon several important fundamental things of society, such as biblical marriage, gender, etc. So we're now living life in a negative world. So hopefully this will be a helpful book for navigating the times. And then we'll see what other books I get to. Hopefully more than just these three for the month of April. Aside from that, I have returned a little bit more to sports. So last week I did play volleyball for the first time, just casually, but in my head I was just thinking, I'm not playing at the level I really want to. I'm not jumping quite as high as I used to. I'm not able to turn and move back as fast as I like. So my knee is still a little bit stiff, but it is what it is. I've been finding a little bit more enjoyment in climbing. So climbing and cycling, this is what I've mentioned to some people. I think those are better hobbies for me because in one sense I'm really only competing against just myself. So volleyball, there's opponents. To some degree, you could say volleyball is a competition against yourself. How well you can hit the ball against, two blockers or whatever. But climbing and cycling, it's really just, I'm battling myself. So at that point, my pride can't act up, which is a better thing. I mean, it can in some ways if I really look into it, right? But in other ways, it's really just a battle against myself. Can I solve this problem? Or how good is my endurance? So exercise has been, in one sense, a good break lately. I started doing some dips again because as I was climbing, I was getting some bicep pain, so apparently my triceps are too weak. But in the past, I've avoided doing like chest and dips, like chest exercises, because I don't like how my chest just blows up very quick. So I did like two days of just doing some dips, and then my mom commented like, "Did your chest get bigger?" And I was like surprised. I'm like, it's only been 2 days, right? I've only done 2 days of dips. Shouldn't get big that fast. But I guess it did, because when I did play volleyball on Monday, a friend also asked, "Have you been working out?" Because he noticed my chest looked a little bit bigger. So maybe it's hard to tell here, right? Maybe not. But this is my chest now. So I used to chalk it up to like, it's just good genetics. But upon thinking about it more, I realized it's actually not good genetics. But it's probably just because I worked out in high school. In high school, it took 3 years of fitness, so benching those 3 years, right? So I did actually have a wider chest. But then I stopped working out because in order to wear like the baggy clothes I like, a wider chest makes those baggy clothes look not actually baggy. So that's why I tend to neglect chest. But exercise has been a bit of a better break, I think, mentally. Climbing, I feel like, there's a lot of fear, right? How do I move forward? So likewise for where I am in life, I think I've also had those thoughts as well. The future, very uncertain. How do I move forward from here? But at the same time, I do have to be careful, because I think if you've seen some of my previous videos, you know that exercise became a little bit of an idol for me. I saw more gain in exercise than I did in pursuing ministry and in just, serving the Lord. So that's a danger for me to look out to. But if I could at least share a little bit of minor accomplishments. There was a while back, it must have been like last July, I was doing like pull-ups, right? Pull-ups with some weights. So with the 45-pound plates. And I could get about 5 to 6 reps, but the reps weren't quite clean. Like my elbows were still kind of flared. Couldn't get all the way down to here. But I did some today. Did about sets of 6, and I'm pleased to say I still have that strength. And if I can show this one here even. This is 2 plates. And I remember way back in July, I tried to do a set. And I don't think I even got up. So the downside here is my elbows are still kind of flared. I don't know if I actually cleared, the imaginary bar there across the rings. If I just kind of like flicked my chin up, then I guess we can count it, right? But here, I pull and I'm literally stuck there. I literally cannot go anymore. I'm like saying, why can't I go up anymore? But I guess that's actually a big improvement compared to last July. I think last July I really could not even pull up at all. So it's just climbing strength, I suppose. I've been getting stronger slowly and surely. So I guess that's the attitude towards the future as well. To move forward slowly and surely. Trust in God's timing, because in my timing, it's just anxiety. A lot of anxiety and worries. Because here, I was mentioning it to men's group last night, but I've talked about contentment. And I've said it a few times, like, if I don't find anything for May, because here, it's public knowledge now, but I won't be renewing the contract with the church I'm at. But I was saying, if I don't find any church, then I'll be content to do some pulpit supply and self-study, because I think I would benefit from some self-study. I think pulpit supply would be great for me to grow in preaching and to practice it, because you only get better as you practice, as you preach. gonna get better at preaching as you preach more. But even though I said it all those times, oh, I think I'll be content doing this. Now it's really creeping up on me, like, am I actually going to be content? Because unemployment, I've had a few unemployment arcs, and they've always gone much longer than I like. And I know what it's like to be just trapped at home. Oh, it's just a bit of a terrible feeling, because in one sense it's a bit better now since the car situation's better. At least I'm not the ones that's a bit like shafted to just no car. But still, in the car situation, I am a little bit more prone to just being stuck at home, being a homebody, and that's always that's not a good feeling. If any of you have ever been unemployed, stuck at home, I know what that's like, and it's terrible. So hopefully, once May rolls around, it'll be a good experience. Yeah, I truly do not know what the future holds, but that's been the main thing I've been wrestling with the Lord the last couple of weeks. How can I be content when I don't know what's going to happen in the future? And how can I keep my eyes fixed on Christ, on a spiritual reality, instead of on earthly things like exercise where I can see progress? And, if I reflect on the whole past year, what have I really accomplished? In terms of like what I can see physically, not a whole lot. But spiritually, the Lord has done many good things in my heart work. I have another book on heart work, so I should probably put that in a list too for April. But again, it's reminders for myself. I can't just be looking at what I can see. I can't just look at human standards, but God is working all things for good in His timing for me, for those who are called according to His purpose. So that's my hope. But hopefully saying it gives a little bit more accountability too. Those were things that I was just saying in my heart often and worrying in my heart. But now it's time to put it into practice. Time to put contentment into practice. I'm not sure if there's anything else to say for this update video. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks there will be more book reviews. I do miss it actually. I do feel like I'm just looking at my books and I'm like, I don't have time to read them all. But I do want to continue to spend my time well. I'm going to have a lot more time too in the coming weeks. So spending my time well, and I hope you all are spending your time well. So being disciplined, that's always a good thing. So I think I'll call it there. Hope to see you in the next video, everyone. As always, I appreciate you all. Leave comments, right? You can encourage me, or if anything that I don't know. I don't care. I just like seeing comments. I like responding to comments. So if you want to comment, by all means, comment. I'll respond to it. But thank you again for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Grace to you and peace.